Two, great weather again. Thank the good Lord for that. Thought we handled it a little better today. Thought, acclimation. I guess that's the key word. We were more acclimated today, and I thought our leaders shone through a little more. Got some good kickoff cover work, good punt work again, and continue to install our schemes. It's day 2 of installation, but we've installed through spring and through summer. That's the advantage of having so many players here in spring is, it's our 3rd time to go through this with pretty much everybody that's going to play for us for the most part. And so that's a huge advantage, I think, for our program. And excited to get pads on tomorrow. So with that, I'll open it up.
Coach, coming out of spring, maybe there was still some questions to answer at the receiver position. You've added some more bodies. Just the first 2 days, Simmons has kind of flashed.
Man, I think
kind
so.
of speak to that.
Yeah, and Glenn, you know how I am. I don't want to put too much into football without pads on, but Larry sure has flashed the last 2 days. And again, he was here for 15 practices of spring ball. He was here all summer. He's back healthy again from his injury that he had at Ole Miss. So you can just see confidence in the system, but also confidence in his body. And I agree with you. I think he's looked really good the last 2 days. He's looked like that dynamic player that was on the coast at Moss Point that everybody in the country wanted. And he's a good kid. He's got a young son. Shine is his son's name, and he's a good father too. And I'm just proud of how he's growing.
Is the tight end position, just kind of, do you think adding a new element to that this season, do you think that can kind of just change the offense a little bit? Or
really excited about what we've recruited there. Justin Reed was an elite recruit last year. Reed Jeselowski was an elite recruit this year, and then you add an SEC transfer in Kyron Heath, and one of the 2 or 3 most highly recruited junior college tight ends in America, and Teron Bedford. So, we've all of a sudden got a lot more depth there and more ability probably when you think about, those guys had a lot of options, and we were able to beat people in recruiting. So excited about that. Coach Long's always done a good job everywhere he's been. I think we counted up at one point. I can't even remember how many tight ends he's had played in the NFL and how many are starting right now, but it's an astronomical number.
Is the way that they're being utilized in this offensive system a little bit different than in the past that you've done?
I don't know necessarily that. Chip and I are very similar. It's just, man, Chip wakes up every day with one thing on his mind, scoring 50 points. And so he's putting everything he can into that, and I'm excited to watch Chip utilize them, utilize all our guys, and there's some good players right there.
Coach, you feel like there's maybe a different sense of closeness with this year's team in particular?
Yeah, a whole nother level of accountability. Some of that's circumstantial, some of it's by design. The circumstantial part of it is, as you know, I'm not going to get into all of it, but when we got here, we couldn't really manage a roster the way you would like to because we were under APR, and we had to build a program back from an academic infrastructure and APR. So we couldn't run a kid off if he didn't want to do it the Southern Miss way. We had to get him through. Well, now that we're past that, we've built that, we've done that. So now if somebody doesn't want to do it our way, hey man, it's America. You go right up them steps and get in the portal and go do it somewhere else, And so the level of accountability in our program is extremely higher, which is refreshing to me. It's the way I've always ran programs before here. And then our kids, they've been here with us for so long now, they can hold it to the standard. And so that's been fun to watch grow too, and very blessed to have been a part of it and watch it grow.
Off that question, saw it this summer, see it every day out here, sense a little bit more. It's an older group in some senses, a little more serious group, I think, not as much joking around and, just very business-like approach. And, last year there was some issues with having some, leadership from your players. You guys as coaches kind of had to step up. Is that dynamic kind of changed a little bit?
I think so, Glenn. I think, again, it's a product of 3 years worth of recruiting our type of people. Everybody here, we recruited to be here. They chose to stay, and so it's a bunch of people that believe in the way things are being done and also know what the expectations are and the standards are. So I agree with you. I think you can feel it, you can sense it, and it's a group that's extremely driven. It's a group that loves football because that's what we recruit. And again, blessed to be a part of it with these players. These players are special. They know what we got, even though nobody else does. And I thank the good Lord every day I get to coach them. Am I good?
Coach, I just want to go back to Sunbelt Media Days, talking to Coach Hall about how excited he was for this offense. He was telling me that just based on the conversation that you guys have had, that you said that this is probably the best offensive staff you've seen in your time. Why was that? What's kind of made you feel that way?
Well, usually most of the jobs I've taken, I've been the lone guy to join. You know, I've known Coach Greg, Coach Lindsey, obviously Coach Hall for a long, long time, and they know me. Obviously adding Coach Spurlock's been an addition, and you know, everybody's just gelled really well. They know my personality; it's not new to them, and they know the intensity we want to practice with, and so this is an easy transition. And just the fact that we've known each other and grown up in the profession together, it's been seamless for me and for those guys.
What's kind of just your approach or philosophy to utilizing the tight ends in your offense?
Yeah, we want to showcase what they're good at. You know, if they have the ability to make plays, you know, obviously we want to dominate the C-gap area and run blocking in the perimeter, but then we want to be a dynamic threat downfield and be able to own the middle of the field. And if we can do that, great. If we can't, then we got to find different ways to get them the ball off our play actions, nakeds, but make them a part of it. You know, I've always said a tight end's a quarterback's best friend. You know, the guy can get easy completions to, get him in a rhythm, get him comfortable, and then being able to utilize our play action game with those guys.
Do you feel like that was maybe something that was missing from last year's team when you looked at all? Or?
Yeah, I be honest with you, I didn't watch most of last year's tape. I came in and just, you know, I just thought what we had to do to get going. So I can't really talk about last year. I know Justin Reed played a little bit as a freshman. He's back and really been very impressive. The start of fall camp, in shape, looks fast, looks big, done a great job this summer getting his body right, which has just helped his confidence. So, you know, it's year 2 of a guy who's played college football. So it's been exciting to see his confidence grow each and every day.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Justin, and I noticed he's a big physical presence, but he can almost run like a wide receiver.
Yeah, no, he's done a great job. You know, I recruited Justin when I was at Georgia Tech, and so I'm glad he's here. And so he's been very impressive. You know, of all the offensive guys, he's probably one of the guys who stand out the last 2 days.
Coach, maybe some questions coming out of spring with your wide receiver group. You added some new bodies. Can you kind of give your thoughts on that group right now, what you're looking for out of them over this camp?
Yeah, you know, I mean, they're battling. You know, there's a lot of good competition in each and every group. Dan has done a good job with his speed and his playmaking ability coming in, and then, you know, you've seen guys make the leap from spring ball to summer to now, playing with a little bit more confidence, a little bit better bounce. Still dropping too many balls. Still got to attack the ball and make the play when our number's called. But that'll come. I'm not worried about that. But you can see, you know, we're not held hostage by anybody's position. You don't want to practice, you don't practice hard, then the next guy's out. We're moving on. And so that's nice. So you can have that competition.
Coach, when you have a guy like Ty Mims, who's obviously super quick like a race car, I mean, how exciting is that for you as a play caller, knowing how many options you give?
Yeah, you know, this whole offense is based about getting our good players the ball. You know, getting our playmakers in space, trying to create number one-on-ones for them, and then them go make plays. So, you know, having guys with any kind of dynamic ability, that we got to find ways to get them the ball. We can't come out of a game saying, man, I wish I gave him a little bit more touches. Now, they got to do a great job of being in great shape so we can move them all over the field and be able to think when they're tired and execute when they're tired. You know, that's kind of the biggest thing on offense. What we got to do is, you know, be able to do what your coach will do when you're tired. We're not feeling very good. You got to suck it up and go. And that's one thing we got to get better at these next few days. But Ty's a very dynamic player, and he's done a nice job this summer getting in shape. And, you know, I expect big things out of him. He's a returning guy, and it's his time to really take it to another level.
I've seen you kind of utilize the I formation a little bit. It just seems like at college, it's kind of harder to see other teams utilizing the I formation or moving away from it. I guess what's your kind of philosophy?
Yeah, you know, I
How
always
you
like to
mix
have
in?
that ability, whether we got to be in 4-minute, if we don't have exactly our A game out on the perimeter, we can always fall back to middle and run the ball and have a certain smash mouth mentality to, you know, to be able to win games and finish games. And I always want to have that thought process of a fullback, whether it's a tight end playing fullback or a bigger running back playing fullback, but having that ability to go right at people and really shore up any kind of edges that we might be struggling with.
Coach, kind of speak to your thoughts on the offensive line coming out of spring and what you want to see out of that group.
Yeah, just more competition, more guys growing. You know, the ability's there. We just got to get in shape and get playing together, communicating a little bit better. But the talent's there. I like the makeup of the group. We just got to get out there and play, get the pads on, and, you know, these next 12 days really just galvanize this team and start preaching toughness each and every day. But we ask those guys to do a lot, but they've done a nice job from spring to now.
Let's do one more for Coach.
You happy with what they did this summer in the weight room?
I am. I think the guys have worked hard. You know, they just got to get used to playing in the heat and probably playing at a little different tempo, dealing with me. And, you know, if one crosses white lines, it's on. And if they don't like it, they can find somewhere else to play.
Sure.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yes.